Howdy folks, this is Blue Collar Piper coming at you yet again. Today I'm smoking my Missouri American Legend with a Danish bit. It's one I picked up at the local discount store. Well, the bit I actually ended up adding. Got that from Aristocob. And I'm smoking a blend of a couple of house blends from Schwab's up in Lexington, Kentucky. It's a mixture, 50-50 mixture of Ideal and Pat's Super Light Cherry. It's a really nice blend. Strongly recommend the either one of them individually or the two together. They're really good. Okay. Now, on to the point of this discussion. I walked out to Walmart today, and I picked up something. That's right. A whole flat of 1 quart jars. Nice big ones. Now you ask yourself, what in the world do you need with all them jars? Well, of course, for cellaring. And that got me to thinking, how many people really understand cellaring in general as it pertains to pipe tobacco? Well, me, I came from most everything I learned about pipe smoking. I learned predominantly from a couple forums, in particular, Pipe Smokers Forum. A lot of old guys that really know pipe smoking as both a hobby and a lifestyle. And, well, they had a saying that I picked up, and I heard quite often. I'm sure it was plastered all over the place. I found that out later. And that saying was, cellar deep, cellar wide, and cellar now. Now, when you break that down to its components, cellar deep, what does that mean? Well, that's simple. When you find a blend that you like enough to keep in your rotation, you want to cellar that blend a lot. You want to make sure that that's a blend that you're going to have for a really long time. Should, say tomorrow, the federal government smacks us with a law that says no more pipe tobacco is allowed in America. Bam, there it is, it's done. Which isn't very likely. Of course, they're going to tax it to high dickens first before that ever happens. But let's say that's the case. Well, what are you going to do? I mean, if you have a month worth of tobacco handy, that's great. But what are you going to do when that month is gone? Or in my case, where I don't make a lot of money, cellaring becomes even more critical. Because all it takes is a tax. If I had to pay the taxes the Canadians had to pay, or worse yet, some of the English or some of the guys in the European Union had to pay on tobacco, I'd have a hard time staying in any kind of pipe smoke. And the quality of the pipe smoke I get would be just the worst, because that would probably be all I could afford was the worst. So that said, I decided it was really important for me to take and find blends that I can get a lot of, that I really like, and cellar those deep. Now, what does cellar wide mean? Well, cellar wide means don't just cellar one blend that you really like a lot. Cellar a lot of blends that you really like a lot. Because eventually, if you smoke the same blend day in and day out, I don't know about you guys, but for me, it kind of gets old. And I like to have a little variety. So you want to cellar wide. You want to cellar as much of all kinds of blends that you like as you possibly can. And then, of course, the most important thing, cellar now. Uh, if you, like I said, tomorrow the federal government, the FDA, could pass a tax doubling the cost of what the average person's paying in the U.S. for tobacco now. Um, Within a month, we could have Canadian prices. Within a month or two, we could have prices like what they pay in the European Union. Uh, and I feel for you guys, seriously. Uh, or for that matter, it'd only be a matter of time with the whole World No Tobacco Day and all that. What if the UN decides to pass some huge sanction that doubles the taxes across the board for everybody on the entire planet? You know. So the point is, the longer you wait to build a cellar, the more than likely you are to be caught with your proverbial pants down. So I just want to get that out of the way. Now, procedures for cellaring, and it's been my experience and pretty much my consensus from what I've learned from most people, that the best way to store tobacco, especially tobacco from bulk, is in ball jars, mason jars, any kind of canning jar with a resealable ring and a little lid. These are not air permeable, but they'll do the job, and that's what you want. You don't want something that's going to be air permeable, but at the same time, you don't want a vacuum seal either, because especially Virginias actually improve with age. Most Virginias do. The same thing is not necessarily true with Burleys, but in the case of Burleys, you want to store in such a way that it doesn't degrade over time. It doesn't improve over time, but you want to eliminate degradation of the Burley. With Virginias, it'll actually improve, and anything that's got a decent amount of Virginias in it will actually improve with age for the most part. Tins, cool thing about tins, don't open them. If you leave it in the tin, mark a date on the bottom, as you can see. When you got it, you'll know how old it is, and it'll keep because it's already prepared. I mean, it doesn't get no better. That's the good thing about tins. The bad thing about tins is you only get 50 to 100 grams per tin, and that can take up a lot of space. So for me, just as an example, here's a perfect example. Smoker's Pride whiskey. Now I like this blend. It's a Burley blend. It's a tasty blend. I always get a good bowl out of it. It's consistent, and I pay $14.50 for 12 ounces of it. That's way less than $2 an ounce. That's cheap. That's cheap for a good smoke that I like. Now, it may not be your best smoke, but for me, this is an awesome value. Find something you can get into in bulk, dirt cheap, get a bunch of it, and cellar it. Okay? Because that's the stuff that's going to get you through when the proverbial crap hits the fan. And another perfect example, maybe all of a sudden you've lost your job. Something, God forbid, something's happened to your business, and you had to be laid off. Well, how are you going to keep smoking, high-end tobaccos all the time and having to make constant orders when your primary concern is paying your bills and eating? Obviously, there has to be a priority there. But an ounce of preparation now can save you from really, really having problems later. So consider it the tobacco bank. Your cellar is very important because you never know what's going to come. Cellar deep, cellar wide, and cellar now. Peter Stockeby bulk blends. They're cheap. Most of them are good quality. Find a blend or two of them you like and stock up on them. The objective is there's a couple of guys on a few of the forums that work on cellars, and the objective is to figure out, basically based on how they smoke, how much tobacco they will have to last under their current smoking regime, based on if they could purchase no more tobacco. And I've seen some guys out there that got enough that they've not only got enough for the rest of their lives, but they've got enough that if any of their children decide they want to take out the pipe, they can. And the really cool part about it is, and if you've ever been surfing around on eBay for sealed tobacco tins, it can actually turn into an investment, because that, say for example, that 1999 tin of half and half, sealed, left alone, put in your cellar, should something happen to you, 15, 20 years down the line, that $19 tin can pull 50 bucks on the bay, no problem. More rare tobacco is even better, and they'll actually begin to increase in value. So not only is it in a huge step in preparation for the continuation of something you truly enjoy, but it's also an investment, much like pipes. As we all know, pipes can be quite an investment. I mean, sure, every once in a while you can score a good deal, but for the most part, even a used pipe, a used Dunhill, I could never afford a used Dunhill, but if I were in a position where I could buy some Dunhills and take good care of them, then I could have an investment in the future. And if it just so happened that one of those Dunhills was rare, all the better. And that could come out to my benefit, or to the benefit of whoever I would bequeath that pipe to. Same thing with cellars. Cellar deep, cellar wide, and cellar now. It's just a little advice for me to all you wonderful pipe smoking community guys. Love you guys. Keep up all the videos, and y'all have a great day.